What's up everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. So in the last video we discussed exactly what you're getting when you purchase the starter pack from the Dots company. Just to review a little bit, you get 2 of these dot spaces. They're advertised as 20 pixels by 20 pixels, but in reality they're 22 pixels by 22 pixels. If you want to know why, check out the last video. Now you get 8 choices for the color. You get to choose 2 of those colors, or you can choose 2 of the same color, whichever you want. You also get 36 dots blocks. They come in 12 different colors, you get 3 of each. Alright, so that's what you get when you buy the starter pack. Now we also discussed how to utilize more surface area in the dot space by positioning our designs in different ways on the base, along with segmenting the designs and putting them back together as after we cut them out. Now we're actually going to be using a different technique today to make this even more efficient, to utilize even more surface area using more rounded designs, because as you can see it's easier to maximize the space when you have all square designs, but we want to make more round designs. So we're going to show you how to utilize more surface area using round designs. Now this requires a different tactic, different technique, and also a different tool. So before we use an ordinary pair of scissors. Now scissors are the safest way to go, but they are very difficult to use when you're getting to those hard to reach areas, and that's why we had to segment those designs. For example, Toad, you had this one piece right in the middle. We could not reach that part, so we had to segment it. We had to cut it into different pieces so that it was easier to reach. This new technique will allow you to bypass those segments and allow you to cut the design out in a whole manner instead of just like different pieces and putting them together. Alright? So the new technique we're using requires an XActo knife. Now this XActo knife, it is called Fiskars. I'm not sure the exact model name of it, but the brand name is Fiskars. You can pick this up at Michael's, or you can pick it up on Amazon.com. They're only $4 to $5, so they're really cheap, very easy to get. Now this specific one was bought on Amazon. You can get a standard XActo knife which looks just like a normal pen, except it has a blade at the end of it. If you want to use that, you can. It doesn't make anything, generally it doesn't necessarily make things easier. It's just I prefer to use this one because it's more ergonomic for me. But a standard XActo knife is much more prevalent in normal stores like Walmart, Staples, Office Depot, so feel free to use that as well. Anyway, before we get started with this knife, I want to stress that it requires caution. There's a reason they have a cover on it. There's a reason they have a cover on most X-Acto knives, is because this blade right here is extremely sharp. Now if you're younger, you might not have the motor skills to use this, so I would strongly suggest you use adult supervision. You can have your parents do it for you. You can have an older brother or an older sister, maybe an uncle, grandpa, aunt, grandmother, whatever you want, whoever you want. Just use caution when you're using this item. Alright? Now, if you want to use it on your own, I'd recommend people who are 14 and above to be able to use this on their own. Now, that's not a hard number. It doesn't matter how old you are. It really depends on your maturity level. Now, this requires a lot of maturity and caution. You need to be able to be very versatile with your hands, because this is not a toy. I want to stress that it's not a toy, so use caution when using this tool, alright? Now, there's not a high chance for you to hurt yourself with this if you're using it the right way. It's very easy to use, but if you are using it the wrong way, you can cut yourself by accident and it can get pretty messy. Anyway, let's move forward. Before you start using this knife, you should get this cutting board right here. This is one I have. Now you don't need to use this specific type. You can use any ordinary cutting board. You can use one that you have in your kitchen, but if you use one in your kitchen, I recommend you washing it off first. Wash it with soap, and if it's wood or plastic, it doesn't matter. Just wash it with soap, dry it off completely. You know, you don't want your sticky dots lying on your mom's casserole from last night, right? So make sure you thoroughly clean it before you use it. Now, this technique also requires you, well, I'm not going to say requires you. It's a good idea to have your designs pre-made on your dot spaces before you start cutting them out. It's not required, but it is a very good idea. This way, if you make your designs ahead of time, you can have time to rearrange your designs in order to utilize the most space necessary. It gives you more time to plan, because if you cut it out first and you realize, oh no, this should have gone here instead, you already cut it out. It's not gonna be impossible to fix it, but it will be more work. So I have already gone ahead and created this little project right here. Now, I made all my designs. You can see there aren't any square designs, they're more rounded designs, but we still are able to fit 5 designs in here. Now, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of these designs are segmented, but the X-Acto knife technique, it allows you to make more whole designs and in a much more efficient manner. So, let me explain to you how this works. You're going to take your X-Acto knife and you're going to run down each vertical in the sides. Alright? You're going to go all the way around the verticals. Now, this differs from the last technique I showed you. The last technique, what I told you to do, was to cut the vertical and then cut the horizontal. Cut the vertical and then cut the horizontal. This time it's different because we're cutting all the verticals out at once, and then we're going to cut all the horizontals out at once after that. Alright? So now I'm going to place the camera on the table, and that way my hand won't be hiding the design as much. It won't be really hiding what I'm doing, so you can get a better angle at exactly what I'm doing. Alright? Alright, so now I have the camera set up on the table to give you a bit of a better angle so you can see more clearly exactly what I'm trying to do. Now, we got the X-Acto knife right here. Remember, you want to have this blade very sharp. If it gets dull, you want to change out the blade. The reason being is that when a blade is dull, you tend to push down with more force to cut it all the way through. When you push down with more force, that leaves more room for you to accidentally slip and cut yourself. So make sure the blade is nice and sharp, alright? So, now like I said, we're going to be cutting out all the verticals first, going all around with the verticals, and then going with the horizontals, alright? So, we're going to start in the bottom right corner. I like to start in the bottom right corner. You can start wherever you want to, but that's my personal preference. Now, you're going to start in the bottom corner. Now you can start in the very tip of the corner, but I like to start a little bit inside in between the dots blocks. The reason for that is because it provides a deeper cut and it allows for a more defined cross section when you go across with the horizontal. For example, if I cut it right at the corner, there may be a bit of connection left over, so it's going to be hard for me to pull it apart when I'm done cutting everything out. But if I get deep in there, not too deep, but if I get in there with a nice defined cross section cut, then it will be much easier for me to pull it out. Alright? So let's get started. You're going to start in the corner. You're going to push down nice and firmly, but not too firmly, because you don't want to put down too much force and cause that extra health risk or safety risk, not necessarily health. Okay, so I'm going to use one hand to hold it down in place, and I'm going to nice and slow, nice and firm, just go straight down, just like that. And if you notice, you might shave off a little bit of the dots block. As long as you're not doing it too much, you'll be fine, it won't be noticeable. Alright? So, we're gonna go through each vertical, nice and slowly. Now, when it gets to parts like these, you can actually just rotate it like this. This way, when you cut downwards, you're not hitting that bottom dots block, and it will decrease the chances of you accidentally cutting too deeply into that dots block. Alright? So you can maneuver it around. I personally don't think it's a big deal, but if you want to be very precise with it, you can rotate it and manipulate the orientation of your design to help eliminate that risk. Just like that. Alright? So we're just going through each vertical right now. Nothing too complicated. Just like that. Now that we have all the verticals cut out, we're going to turn it around so that the horizontals become the verticals. All right? So now we start with the horizontals. Now, if you saw what I just did there, I have my left hand holding the base like this, and my blade was very close to my hand. You might not want to do that. It will be safer if you turn it the other way around like this. That way your hand, you can still hold it down, but your hand is farther from the base, is farther from where you're cutting. So you can eliminate that risk of cutting yourself too. Just like that, all right? Whoops, this piece came off. I'm not exactly sure where it goes, but I'll just put it aside for now. All right, so we're gonna continue cutting the the horizontals. All right, it looks like we have all sides cut out. We're gonna go ahead and put the cover back on the X-Acto knife for safety reasons and put it aside. Now, here's one tip. Before you pull it apart, after you cut everything out, you're gonna flip it over. And I'm not sure if you can see because of the camera, but there are a bunch of little markings right here. And these markings are signifying that or indicating that the knife cut all the way through. If we see all of the lines are connected, that's good, that means it's cut all the way through. If we see any part where the line does not seem as connected, it means that's not cut all the way through, and we need to go over it again just a little bit more. For example, this part right here, it seems like there's a little gap right here, so I'm gonna use my finger to mark my position. I'm gonna pinch down on it so I don't lose my place, and that tells me right here, that's where I need to cut more. So I'm gonna remove the cover and I'm gonna continue cutting that part. Just like that. Maybe another one right here. We missed a cut right here. I completely missed that. All right, and I think I actually missed a horizontal cut right there too, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And you see that pops out nice and easy. I'm gonna explain what this is later, and for right now I'm gonna put it aside. Now let's go and take another look at the back, and it looks like I need to make a deeper incision right here. So I'm gonna pinch that down, and I'm going to go at every angle that I can to make this cut more precise and deeper. There we go. Let's flip it over again. And it looks like it's cut more thoroughly, so now we can try to pull it apart. So we're gonna put the cover back on the knife, put that aside. Now I'm gonna hold the base down with one hand, and I'm going to use my other hand to lift up and just slightly pull it up and out, all right? Just like that. And now we can go ahead and pull apart these small pieces that are stuck inside there, just like that. And you can see that there is still a little bit of excess there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do exactly what we did with the scissors last time. We're just gonna take the knife and trim off the excess. Here we go. Now we are going to, let's put these trimmings aside. We're gonna come back to this. So if you notice, our Luigi doesn't have any hands. That's because we didn't have any room to put it on in the precise place that we needed to. So I went ahead and gave him 2 dots pixels for each hand, and we're just gonna cut this in half, just like that. And now we have his 2 hands that go right over there, all right? And once we put it together, it's gonna look like one piece, but for now we're gonna put it aside. So you see how we actually cut this out. So it's basically the same process for all the other designs. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out on my own, and I'll get back to you then, so that way we'll save a lot of time. All right, so I'll be right back. Alright, so we have all of our designs cut out, and this is roughly what it looks like, what it looked like originally before we cut it out. This is roughly the same position that it was in. So now let's start moving things around to make more sense of the picture. So we already have a clearly defined Superman symbol, so we're gonna go ahead and move that out of the way. Now, the next most clearly defined design we have is the Luigi. So now what are these two pieces right here? These were the hands that go right here, alright? So we're going to put those together, just like that. Now here we have the apple. If we rotate this to make it more orientationally correct, we'll notice that this piece fits right in here. There's the stem and the leaf for that apple. Now what is this mess right here? So let's start with this part right here. We're going to take away this part because this is irrelevant right now for this design. Now I made a mistake. I cut these two out off of the main body. I shouldn't have cut them out, but it's okay because when we stick it on, like I said in the previous videos, it will not make a difference. You will not see that it's more than one piece. You will only see it as one piece once you stick it onto your display. So if we bring this part out, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna flip all of these over. I just realized that you guys were upside down, so I'm gonna flip them all over just like that. Alright. Let me move my little apple over here. Now, so here's the body. Here are the feet. Hopefully you can see these. And here is the head. So we made a unicorn. Alright, and now that leaves these three pieces. What are these pieces right here? Let's rotate them. We got the head. We got this piece right here. It actually goes right here. We got the feet, the lower body, and then we have the cow's little horns right here that go just like so. And you can see all these designs we made out of one dot space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs. Now let's go ahead and get our display out. Our display's right here. We're gonna go ahead and start with Superman. Alright, same as always, we're gonna peel this back, the paper layer. I'm sorry, I cut my nails recently so I can't really dig in there. There we go. We peel that paper layer back to reveal the sticky adhesive. Let's put this right in the middle. Right there. Push down nice and firmly. Alright, let's do Luigi next. So we're going to start with his main body. Alright. There we go. Gotta work without nails here. Put that aside. We're going to stick him right next to our Superman sign. Just like that. We're going to get his little hands. It came off much easier. We're going to stick them right where they need to go. Just like so. Just like that. Making sure it's straight, making sure it's connected. Alright, let's do the apple next. So we have our apple right here. We're going to peel the paper layer off of the main body. Try to get a different side, maybe a different side would be easy. There we go. We're going to put him right next to our Superman symbol again. We're going to take the stem with the leaves on him, and we're going to peel that paper layer off. Let me flip it over. There we go. We're going to stick that where it needs to go, right there. Alright, so now we have our 3 of our designs. Let's work on our cow. So the cow, we're going to take the head. We're going to start with the head this time. And we're going to peel that paper layer off. Let's put him right over here. That sounds like a good place. That looks like a good place to put him. Right there. Now we go on to the the feet, the lower body. We're going to center that right underneath his head. Whoops, that's not centered. I'm sorry, right there. There we go. Alright, now we're going to get his little horns. We're going to peel the paper layer off the horns. It's much easier with nails. I cut them all off last night so I could play my guitar a little bit easier, but certain situations like these, you would appreciate nails more. So I'm gonna put that right there, line it up, just like that. Now the other half of the horns, I'm just gonna roll that back. There we go. And the final one, the unicorn. Let's start with the head. Oops, drop that piece right there. We're gonna put this one right over here. Actually, let's put him right over here. Give him a little bit more room. There we go. Let's do the body next. Just gonna let that paper layer just roll back. There's the body. And now the last step is the feet. We have the 2 feet right there. We're gonna do one at a time. Alright. Just gonna peel that paper layer back. Whoops, the piece came off. Just like that. I'm gonna put one right here. And the other one, let's see if I can get this. There we go. We're going to put that right over here. Whoops. There we go. Just like that. It's that easy. Alright, and those are our 5 designs. I hope you enjoyed this new technique that we showed you. Like I said, it makes things much more efficient. It helps you cut things much more precisely, especially getting into those very hard to reach areas that you normally wouldn't be able to do with regular scissors. And as you can see, we maximize the entire surface area. Well, we utilize the most surface area as we could possible through this technique. So, next video we're going to be going over some more complex designs, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the new technique I showed you today in this video. Remember, you can apply that technique to any kind of design you want to make, but it does make it specifically easier for those complex designs or the ones that have the little dips like this that are harder to reach with scissors. Now, remember that I made all 10 of these designs from 2 dot spaces, both of which comes with a starter pack. It comes with 36 blocks. Now, keep in mind that I did purchase more add-on packs for certain colors, which allowed me to make different designs like SpongeBob, which required more than just 3 yellow dots blocks. However, if you have designs that call for only the ones given to you, you can make all of those designs with just the starter pack alone. Now, keep in mind that you can make more designs if you decrease the size of your designs, or you can make larger designs by sacrificing the amount of designs you can make. For example, if you make something that's a little bit bigger than this, on average, you may be able to squeeze in 6 to 8 designs for both dot spaces. So maybe 3 to 4 designs per dot space. But if you make them a little bit smaller than mine, you can maybe fit up to even 6 or 7 designs per dot space. You know, I never know how many designs you can make. It's all up to how creative you are and how you can manipulate the blocks and the dot spaces yourself. Now, if you go onto the website STiKidotz.com, spelled exactly like this, you can go to the creations page, and it has a gallery of a bunch of different designs you can make and a bunch of different ideas on how to use the sticky dots. It's not just used as a sticker, it's used for many things, and you can check that out on STiKidotz.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.